The Earth, this blue planet, known today for its beauty, life, and the magic of nature, was not always as we see it now. The Earth that we walk upon today, filled with oceans, rivers, and rain-laden clouds, was once a barren and blazing world. A time existed when there were no seas, no clouds, and no drops of rain. Only a hot, glowing sphere of rock spinning silently around the sun. So, the great question arises, when there was no water on Earth, how did the first rain fall? This question not only sparks scientific curiosity but also invites us to reflect on the mysteries of creation and the wonder of existence. Let us explore this secret, through both the lens of science and the poetry of nature. The birth of Earth, a fiery beginning. About 4.5 billion years ago, in the vastness of space, dust and gas began to collide and merge under gravity. The young sun was forming at the center of this cosmic cloud, pulling in the remaining material around it. Gradually, these tiny particles clumped together, forming larger and larger bodies, until one of them became what we now call Earth. But the early Earth was nothing like the home we know. It was a molten world, a ball of fire and lava. Its surface was covered with a sea of molten rock, and temperatures were unimaginably high. There was no atmosphere, no oxygen, no clouds, just an inferno surrounded by silent darkness. Inside this fiery planet, gases began to form: water vapor, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia, and other volatile compounds. As the Earth slowly cooled, these gases escaped through massive volcanic eruptions and began to collect around the planet. Thus began the creation of the Earth's primitive atmosphere. The mystery of water. Where did it come from? Now comes the great mystery. If Earth began as a ball of fire, where did its water come from? Scientists have proposed two major theories to explain this. 1. The outgassing theory, internal source. The gases trapped inside Earth were released through volcanic eruptions. Among these gases was a significant amount of water vapor. As the surface and atmosphere cooled over time, this vapor condensed into clouds, and eventually, it began to fall as rain. 2. The cometary theory, external source. Some scientists believe that water arrived from outer space. Billions of years ago, when the Earth was young, countless comets and asteroids bombarded its surface. These celestial visitors contained ice. When they collided with Earth, the ice melted, turned into vapor, and later formed clouds, which gave birth to the first rain. It is very possible that both theories are true. Part of Earth's water came from its own depths, and part from the cosmic realm. Together, they brought the moisture that laid the foundation for life. Formation of the first atmosphere. The early atmosphere was completely different from the air we breathe today. There was no oxygen, only carbon dioxide, nitrogen, ammonia, and water vapor. Volcanic eruptions filled the skies with ash and smoke, and thick clouds of gas surrounded the planet. The sky was dark, heavy, and filled with poisonous vapors. Sunlight could barely reach the surface. At first, the air was too hot for any rain to form. Even if water vapor condensed, it instantly evaporated before touching the ground. But over millions of years, as the Earth's crust cooled, things began to change. The molten rocks hardened into solid land, and the atmosphere began to stabilize. Slowly, the temperature dropped enough for water vapor to truly condense. The first rain, the Earth's first gift. Then came that extraordinary moment, one of the greatest turning points in planetary history. Around 4 billion years ago, the Earth had finally cooled enough for water vapor to form actual clouds. The sky darkened, thunder rumbled, lightning flashed, and for the first time in the history of the world, rain began to fall. But this was no ordinary rain. It poured endlessly for thousands, perhaps millions of years. It filled the craters and valleys, forming lakes, rivers, and finally, vast oceans: the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Indian Oceans, the great blue heart of our planet. That first rain established what we now call the water cycle, the eternal rhythm of evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, without which life could never have existed. It was as if the Earth, once aflame, had finally taken a cool, peaceful breath. The poetic face of nature. If we look at this moment not just scientifically but with a poetic heart, it feels as though the earth finally awakened from a deep, fiery sleep. When her chest burned with molten pain and her tears had dried up, the heavens opened and wept for her, the rain descended like the first tears of creation. This was the first meeting between the sky and the earth, a divine union that made life possible. From that moment on, every drop of rain became a messenger of renewal, a whisper of hope, and a reminder that even the harshest worlds can be softened by the touch of water.